Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the first public meeting for the City of Homestead for 2024. Today is Tuesday, January 16th, and it is 5:06 p.m. I'd like to call to order the City of Homestead Community Redevelopment Agency meeting. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Board Member Bailey, Board Member Cannavale, Board Member Cannavale,
He's here.
Board Member Davis,
Here.
Board Member Roth, Vice Chairman Fletcher,
Here.
Chairman Losner.
Here. Ms. Driver, are there any additions, deletions, or deferrals?
No, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Board, any requests for deletions or deferrals? Okay. All right, we have before us the December 5th, 2023 board minutes. Do we have a motion to approve? Moved by Board Member Bailey, seconded by the Vice Chair. Any further questions or comments? All in favor? Any opposed? Next item is tab 2, car number 4138. Mr. Pearl?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Tab 2 is a resolution of the Board of the Community Redevelopment Agency of the City of Homestead, Florida, approving the allocation of Commercial Enhancement Grant Program funds, approving a grant agreement, providing for implementation, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you, Ms. Driver.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Staff recommends, Staff recommends the CR Board approve a commercial enhancement grant award for Spinning Wheel and Alignment, Inc. for a maximum allowable amount of $25,000. Spinning Wheel and Alignment, Inc. is located at 289 South Chrome Avenue, Homestead, 33030. The location of the property makes it eligible for a 90% contribution by the CRA and 10% contribution by the applicant. The grant will cover replacement of windows and doors, and the applicant is here.
Okay, well, if we could have a representative from the applicant just come and introduce yourselves. Good evening and welcome. Hi.
My name is Andres Van. My wife, Carolina. We're looking to better the fascia of the building, and we applied for the grant.
Very good.
I'm not a good talker. I think you know.
Look forward to it. It's been a while since that facade of that building's had anything different.
Yeah.
Look forward to it. Thank you for investing in the community. All right. Do we have any questions or comments from council of either staff or the applicant? Do we have a motion to approve? Yes. Moved by Board Member Cannavale, seconded by Board Member Bailey. Are there any further comments? Okay. Anyone from the public wishing to speak on this matter? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing and ask all in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
Thank you.
Let's go to it. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Next item.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Tab 3 is a resolution of the Board of the Community Redevelopment Agency of the City of Homestead, Florida, approving the allocation of Residential Improvement Grant Program funds, approving a grant agreement, providing for implementation, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Driver.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I would like to point out that these grants did not go before SWAC. However, the SWAC members did receive the grant applications prior to, but due to the nature, the urgency rather, of the repairs, we met with Councilwoman Bailey, and she said it was okay for us to bypass SWAC this time. So on May 17, 2010, the CRA Board approved Resolution CRA 2000504, creating the Residential Facade Repair Grant Program. Staff recommends that the CRA Board approve the attached resolution authorizing the allocation of a residential rehabilitation grant in an amount up to $15,000 to Patricia Mills at 817 Turner Circle. The grant will cover fence installation, exterior painting, and driveway repair. And Ms. Mills is here as well.
Okay. Thank you. If the applicant, the homeowner doesn't mind, we'll just have you come to the podium and introduce yourself for the record and say hello.
She's a little shy. She's coming.
Okay. We all start out that way, and look what happens. Hey, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. My name is Patricia Mills, and I'm a resident at 817 Turner Circle in Homestead, Florida. I've been there over 30 years.
Very good. One of the first owners then. That was a new
Yes.
project.
Yes.
Very good. I think I talked to you during campaign season.
Yes, you did.
We have the package. We know what will be done. We just wanted to have you come forward and introduce yourself just so we had you on the record. Are there any questions or comments from any members of the board? Yeah. Okay, is there any public comment? No public comment then? Do we have a motion to approve? Moved by Councilwoman Bailey, seconded by the Vice Chair. All in favor? Any opposed? Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for coming here this afternoon. All right. Tab 4.
Yes, Mr. Chair, tab 4 is a resolution of the Board of the Community Redevelopment Agency of the City of Homestead, Florida, approving the ranking of the Evaluation Committee of Proposers to RFQ 2023-40, Brownsfields Environmental Consulting Services, authorizing the city manager to negotiate and enter into an agreement with Stantec Consulting Services, Inc. as the top-ranked firm, authorizing the city manager to negotiate and enter into an agreement with the next highest-ranked firm, SCS Engineers, if an agreement cannot be negotiated with the top-ranked firm, and likewise with the next ranked firm, if necessary. Such agreement shall be subject to approval as to form and legal sufficiency by the city attorney, providing for implementation, providing for an effective date.
Thank you. Ms. Dryer?
The South Florida Regional Planning Council was awarded a $500,000 fiscal year 23 Brownfields assessment grant to conduct 8 Phase 1 and 6 Phase 2 environmental site assessments on CRA-owned sites. Grant funds are also used to develop a site inventory, prepare 7 cleanup plans and 5 reuse plans, and conduct community outreach activities for CRA-owned sites. On October 19, 2023, the city released a request for qualifications to procure professional services to continue and extend the city and/or the CRA's work associated with Brownfields program in future years. The consultant shall serve as the city's professional engineering or environmental representative for a project or projects and will be tasked to perform various environmental services related to the city's Brownfields program. Services include assist with identifying and pursuing applicable Brownfields-related funding opportunities for the city/CRA, conduct a range of site assessment-related tasks, conduct cleanup/reuse planning, and conduct environmental remediation activities necessary to implement the Brownfields program. Staff recommends the CRA Board authorize the Executive Director to enter into negotiations with the top-ranked firm, Stantec Consulting Services, for the award of RFQ number 202340. If the top-ranked firm is unable to meet the CRA's needs and requirements, negotiations will then proceed to the second-ranked firm, SCS Engineers, and then to the third-ranked firm, Universal Engineering Sciences, LLC, in accordance with Florida Statute Section 287.055(5)(b). Upon successful negotiations with the most qualified firm that is able to meet the city's requirements, the city manager or his designee will execute an agreement for the services within the established departmental budget of $100,000. If the final contract exceeds the budget, the city manager will bring the proposal back for board approval.
Thank you. Council, the board, questions, comments? All right, any questions or comments from the public? Do we have a motion to approve? Moved by Board Member Bailey, seconded by Board Member Davis. Any public comment? Seeing none, all in favor? Any opposed? All right. Moving right along. Now for the fun. Tab 5. You ready?
So
Tab
sorry.
5.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chair.
But you're looking around to see if the proposers were here.
I was waiting for Matt to read in. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're it.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chair. The mission of the Homestead Community Redevelopment Agency is to eliminate slum and blight. Like community redevelopment agencies throughout Florida, one method HCRA utilizes to accomplish this mission is to acquire and renovate blighted buildings. On December 18, 2022, the CRA Board approved a resolution authorizing the Executive Director to enter into an agreement for purchase of vacant real property at 204, 220, 230 North Chrome Avenue and 28/32 Northwest 2nd Street in the amount of $4.2 million. The property served as unused storefront in the heart of downtown for many years. The purchase was contingent upon authorization from Miami-Dade County Board of County Commissioners, the BCC, to the HCRA to borrow funds for this purpose. The funds would be secured solely by a pledge of the tax increment revenues generated within the redevelopment area. The BCC granted authorization on April 18, 2023. On August 15, 2023, the CRA closed on the purchase and subsequently released a 163 notice on September 1, 2023, seeking proposals from parties interested in purchasing or acquiring an interest through long-term lease in the properties or a portion thereof for purposes of developing a destination food hall concept with related ancillary uses or another restaurant concept. At the conclusion of the 60-day notice period, staff received 4 proposals. In November, staff met with the 2 proposers whose concepts best aligned with the board's expressed vision for the properties, and they were Society 8 Hospitality Group and Vida and Estilo Hospitality Group, or VE. Staff is requesting direction from the CRA board. If it is the board's preference to move forward with one of the proposed projects, staff will come back to the board with the proposed negotiated agreement. We do have presentations from both of the proposers. I know that VE is here now, and I just received a text message from Society 8 who's saying that he's expected to arrive about 5:28. So if it is the board's wish, we could go ahead and move forward with the presentation from VE. Is that okay?
Please, yes. This is the restaurant. The first one's a restaurant.
Here, on behalf of B Hospitality Group, we used to be a B Restaurant Group, but last month we bought the new hotels and we are making a different, project in our company. As a number 25 in the United States, we've been there more. We started as a family group in 1991, and now we become like a reality in a dream. Bringing back our dreams to Homestead is a very good, dream. Absolutely personally for me, because I'm living in Miami in West Kendall for more than 21 years. So I'm believing in this project with all my heart, and it was, a very pleasure for me to present my company to this building. Okay, and there's 2 concepts for the corner of the building. The building is 10,000, almost 10,500 square feet. It's big enough, and with 4,000 square feet, we need just the 2 concepts that we're
Let me ask you to stand closer to the microphone. Yes.
Okay,
There
we
we
are
go.
presented to bringing down Homestead 2 of the concepts, the 12 concepts that we have in the hospitality group. One of them is 1957. I don't know if you know a little bit about our company. We've been in the market for more than 25 years already, and we are now the 25 top in USA serving hospitality and restaurant group. Havana 1957 was funded based in the Cuban style, high standards from the 1957 when the immigration before the revolution, the revolution won, and we tried to attract that memories from that city in that state, and we bring back to the Miami the food high quality standards and the food service that we do. That was the creation of the brand, and we are very high quality and high polished casualty restaurants. We serve high standards of food and service, and our commitment is our customers. We have live entertainment, and we are planning to bring it down to Homestead. We have 5 locations already. We are planning to open one in Las Vegas. One of the locations, let me pass a little bit. The food that we serve is authentic Cuban food. Our ingredients is organic. We serve all of them we made the recipes. We all that with them in from the ground. We have 5 locations, and I said, Española Way, Lincoln Road, Ocean Drive. The hotel in Breakwater is the 910 Ocean Drive, and in Pembroke Pines one. We're going to open one in Las Vegas this year, in the middle of next year, and it's going to be in the Flamingo building. So why Havana 1957? Because we have a Latin community, and we believe that we are, winning to be in Homestead, in that corner, to bring about the lifestyle that the city deserves. We are going to serve, hard liquor. We're going to serve Latin music. We're going to serve high standard food, and we know that it's going to be well appreciated in that corner. Also, this is an example of what we do. In all our locations, we have live music. The only one that we don't have live music is Española Way. Nowadays, and in Las Vegas, in Flamingo, we're going to bring that show. There's going to be La Perla, and it's going to be like a cabaret. We have light dance and music. We have entertainment, and it's a still performance during the weekends in the beach. Homestead doesn't have light night, so we know that we need it. We need it as a community. We have a very good Latin community, and also American community that they love Latin music. They love Latin food. We don't have nothing to offer in that. We are more than willing to do it. That's why we are. I believe in this concept to bring it down the live night and the stylish that the city Homestead deserve. The group now is willing to bring also the cortadito. Cortadito is a complement with the food with Havana 1957. It's a new concept created by one of the owner of the group as well. Cortadito is like a Cuban stylish Starbucks, but it's better than that because we have authentic Cuban coffee. We also serve food like a bowl, like a healthy food. We also serve salads, we have pastries, we also complement for the breakfast time that we're going to be open Havana is going to be open at lunchtime and the late nights during the weekends. We're going to open live music. The shows are going to be just in weekends. And during the Monday to Friday or to Thursdays, it's going to be, 12 to 11. It depends on how the city responds to the location, but we are open and more than willing to extend the hours to serve that. Okay, those are the locations that we have. We have now opened in the Coral Gables, Meridian, Washington Avenue. Now in this month we're going to open the Brickell one, and downtown is going to be in the middle of 225. So we are planning to open more than 25 in Miami, just in Miami, and I'm very excited if Homestead want to be one of the ones. And this is more or less what we serve. We standardize the brand. It's our brand. We serve the best cortadito in town in Miami, and it's very good. So I just want to talk a little bit about hospitality. The project in the city is what I said before. We need that the people that drive away 45 minutes all the way down to Miami, to Brickell, we need it down. We need him to bring it here. The people are now more than they're willing to drive like an hour or 2 hours to the downtown looking for entertainment. And the nearby that we have is in Kendall, just on that. The city doesn't have that, and we are very committed to bring it down. Also, something that we have to say is we have now an exchange partnership with the FIU. The FIU Hospitality Group is working with us. We intern all the students that are studying for hospitality, and we bring it out to our company, and we exchange experience with them, so we can do it with the Miami-Dade College that you guys are open right now, so we can do that also as well. We're going to bring down more than 80 jobs, people hiring from the city. So the 80 jobs right now is going to be just in these 2 concepts, but we have 12 concepts, so we can bring it down a lot more. So we just need now 4,000. I believe with the 4,000 of the 18 1,000 square feet that the building have. We now just need the 4,000. 4,000 square feet for these two concepts, and this is our proposal. And let me see. The proposal, we estimate to build out approximately 600 per square foot, and the total amount will be 2,400,000. The build out will satisfy the total completion of Havana 1957 and Cortadito in the corner. We're going to be planning to move the facade to the back and to do at the back like a terrace in order that we can sit out and eat people. I believe that the city is planning to extend the sidewalk, and we are appreciating this. And this is going to be a project that will help us a lot to sit. And the purpose of that is to attract from the street the ambience and the atmosphere of the building. And this is going to be the call attention for all the traffic that we have. Most of the people that drive by Chrome, they don't stop. They don't look around. They just straight down and pass the lights. We need to start moving and make people happen and stop and spending in the city to produce life, to produce more entertainment. We have more than 80,000 people living around and counting. The house property selling right now is, I've been like in less than a mile, 8,000 grants, and people are spending in here. People are starting spending in the city. They are moving people down here. We need that for the city, and we believe in that project. We purpose hours of operation in Havana, I told you before, and all the money includes everything just to open the restaurant. We are planning to lease to make a lease a long term. Depends if the city wants to, allow to give us the opportunity. And I'm ready. I'm ready to questions. The CEO couldn't be here. And the owners are in behalf of everything that I talked about. We are a very committed group and a very prosperous group, and I think the city deserves it.
Okay. Well, thank you. I know I'm impressed in looking at what your group does with what they have in Las Vegas, Miami Beach, Coral Gables. Very, very impressive. Very upscale. And there's one thing I think I want to point out. I think our package reflects a build out of in excess of $5 million. This amount here that you're showing for the 4,000 square feet, which we'll call the corner unit, is 2.4. So to the extent that
Let me explain what's going on.
Right,
At the beginning when we presented the group, it was trying to occupy the entire building.
for the entire,
building. The entire
18,000
building
square
is
feet.
more or less 18,000 square feet, more or less, more than that. So we wanted to bring it down 5 concepts.
right.
Now we estimate, because we were planning before and we were in a meeting before, and because of the contribution of the city was a lot of money to make that building, in becoming a second generation restaurant. It's just, in the grease trap, in the hookah, the kitchens, in all building for the restaurant, transforming is like a normal building into a restaurant. It costs more or less between, in the standards of the United States, between 300 and 600. We are living in Miami. Approximately the cost is going to be 600, and we including all the furnitures and everything that we have. It's just to open the door and to start paying the rent for the lease. Bringing down the managers and the kitchen, the training and everything. It's just to open the restaurant. It's including as well the musicians and the art and everything. We used to have the proposal before for 5 concerts with the entire building. That's what it costs more in that proposal that you have. But we reduced it to the 4,000 in order that just to bring 2. Because why 2? Because Havana, the big ones that we have in Pembroke Pines is 4,500 foot, and it's more than enough for what we serve. So in that corner, from the building, we can share with, some of the other, we wanted the entire building, but it's not the time right now, but I believe that we're going to have all the councils down here. So we're going to use more buildings like that, but in this building, it's going to be enough for us, this 2 space, 1 space divided between 2 concepts.
Very good. A couple quick items that The advertising was give us a proposal for all or part, any part of the building.
That's correct.
And both the proposals we'll hear from tonight, I understand that the city has committed to putting a roof on the building and improving the alley to the rear of the building and the off-site parking to the southwest. Is that correct?
The roof and the parking lot, yes.
All right. Board
Ms.
members?
Mr. Chair, I'm sorry, may I just add something real quick, if it's okay? Just wanted for the record to clarify that we received the revised proposal from VE this afternoon, so that's why there's a difference between what she's reporting now and what's in the memo.
I understand. Board Member Davis?
Thank you very much. I had a quick question for you. Thank you very much for your proposal, excellent presentation.
Thank you.
How many jobs, and it might be catching you off guard a little bit, but how many jobs do you expect this to
In the beginning,
to
for
bring?
just the two concepts, at least 80.
I'm sorry?
80. Now, with just two concepts.
And most of those would be like local, correct? I mean, you may,
Yeah.
A number of them may be-
Between of all of them, 80,
Yeah.
more or less.
okay, thank you.
Is that it? Okay. Yes. Board Member Cannonball?
Yes, how are you?
I love this concept. I want this in Homestead. This is what I want, all over the place. I want Homestead to be a happy place, like everybody stay here, doesn't go
Yes.
anywhere. Okay? Exactly what I want. Very good. I love it.
I believe in that dream, and this is my dream.
No, that's
Believe
what,
me, I've
you
been
know
in this
something?
company for 20
I
years.
wish you were here during my campaign so you can talk instead of me because you talk much better than me. But what you were proposing is exactly what I was proposing. Everything needs to be over here.
I've been in this company for 20 years. I work with them, and they like my family. I mean, they didn't want to come down. They didn't. It's not because they don't believe in the city. It's because
and next
they.
time, the only thing that I didn't like is that
I
you put
mean,
all the food right there, and we don't need
most
to
of
see
the
food.
people-
We don't
most
need
of
to
the
see
people,
food
I
at
don't
this
know.
hour
I've been.
in the
I
screen.
wanted to bring it down. I almost talked to the owner at the beginning when we met the first time. I said we need to come down to see that we have a
But
ton
next
of
time, no.
families with a middle class and high class that we need and deserve this down here. Nobody else wants to drive 1 hour and a half over there to serve the food that we have.
Next time, don't bring the photos. Bring the food.
I can do it. I can do it.
Well, and I want to add, the first time that they came down to look at the building, it was as if they had been listening into our meetings or had the inside info that even before I think they went inside the building, they looked at the front and said, oh, we can move this front wall back to expand the outdoor dining and entertainment. And we talked about the federal funds that we have and the plans that we have to redo the entire streetscape. So how long ago was it you came down? What, 6 months ago?
More.
Yeah.
It's
6 or
almost a
8
year. It was last year at the beginning,
8
Mayor.
months ago. So it's exciting. Yes, Board Member Bailey?
Thank you, Mayor. Exciting, definitely. So I don't know if you know, but that's walking distance from my house. And it's been 20 years almost that is the vision that I've always seen, like a European almost type of cafes. So pushing the windows back in that area, I think that is the perfect opportunity for us. The back alley, there's nothing to do there. It all needs to be in the front. I love the concept of the Cortadito. I think that a coffee place there would do well. We have quite a few businesses now that we're seeing a lot more activity. So to be able to have something in the morning, I think that would be great. I think that some of the things to keep in mind of what's going to make this a success is making sure that you're partnering with the right local vendors as well. Homestead is something different. We've got this, this culture and these old school businesses, and of course with the agricultural growers, Schnebly Winery, just whichever ways that you can give it a homestead twist. I think that would be great. But I love the concept of the Havana Nights. We don't have anything on the west side really. That's Cuban. You have to go out to the east side.
But don't forget Havana Spice.
Sorry?
Havana Spice. Let's don't slight them.
Oh, yes, of course. And then the last thing is to consider maybe doing something with cigars. That's something.
We can bring cigars. I mean, we sell cigars in Havana 1957. We bring them.
Perfect. I think that would do well here,
We
too.
have it. We have also souvenirs, and also we were thinking about everybody pass through the Keys from here. I also have a property in the Keys. Now everybody goes to Chrome. Most of the people like and driving over here. So from the Keys to here, we're gonna bring people to, because in the Keys there is not too many Cuban that with their live music. At 9 o'clock they close it. So we are attracting West Kendall, Redlands, Homestead, and the Keys. So it's gonna be more than happy, more than enough.
And then the very last piece is the only thing that I would like to see, at least for the other bays then, is still some type of food hall concept. I don't know if you have you guys ever done anything with?
We have another proposal.
Oh, I
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
I know, but I'm just curious if we end up going with you, if those other bays, you would consider doing something?
We wanted to, the point is in that is we want to bring the two concepts that are most popular right now. At the beginning, we're 5 at the same time, but because of everything that we have going on in the company right now, we just invest a lot. So it's been hard for us to move down here all at the same time. That's why we were just slow with the contribution with the city. But we are more than happy to bring that. We don't have a full hall. All our restaurants are full restaurants. Just the cortadito is the grab and go that we have. But we have also, I don't know if you're familiar with our brands. We have sushi, like the pepper fish. I don't know if you've ever been in Brickell and in South Beach. It's one of the best sushi places that we have in Miami right now. The two of the restaurants that we have in Brickell City Center now is the one is number 2 and one is number 3. It's a Cuban food. The name is Marabou. It's a higher standard than Havana 1957. The menu is more or less the same. And the other one is Café Americano, one of the brands that I wanted at the beginning to bring down. Café Americano is like a Denny's, but it's not a Denny's. It's a high-quality Denny's. And what we have in the beginning in Las Vegas, in Caesar Palace, and we opened for 24 hours before the pandemic. Coming down with Café Americano, it was to bring down American food, international food, in order to accomplish with like a similar with the food hall. Because in the food hall, everybody with the family, the kids want to eat chicken tenders, the parents want to eat pizza, and I myself, I want to eat Cuban. But Café Americano has all the menu included. We have a lot of projects that we can bring out to do that. The food hall is not something that we never do, but it's not something that we cannot do.
I was just curious. Thank you so much for the presentation. So one quick question to staff. So this could be split between 2 businesses, or whoever we decide to go with is going to take those 2 bays, and then what is the plan for that?
Sure, if that's the board's, would like to try to bring some type of merger of the 2 ideas, yeah, we could make it happen. We would figure out the details on how to negotiate that and come up with the agreements for both, but it is a possibility.
I'm just curious if both concepts, they both obviously look wonderful.
The only thing that I'm talking in the proposal, this is not competing agreement. We cannot put in the food hall any Cuban food or Cuban coffee. Anything that in the building nearby, they cannot serve the same food that we have. So we put it in the proposal over there in order that we cannot compete in agreement.
Oh, and that would be part of the bigger picture negotiation. Yeah, certainly we, understand and respect that. That it's not just, okay, you take this part of the building and you take that part.
No, it's not
we
that.
get
We can serve, we can be, neighbor, we can help each other, but it's not competing is the point that we cannot open 2 concepts at the same time in the same building. That's what I'm planning.
So this is 4,000 of the 18
Essentially the corner.
The corner one.
The corner building.
on
The second.
corner. Okay,
The south
thank you.
corner. Yeah.
Thank you, Mayor.
Right, so are the second, is there no further questions for this presentation? Is the second group ready to go?
Yes, sir. He's here, Mr. Stephen DePuzzo
Thank
from
you.
Society 8. Thank you, Sandra.
we doing? Good. Do we have a, all right. I'm not good without a slide. How are we doing today? So I want to introduce you to us. We're Society 8 Hospitality.
Let's have your name for the record
Sure,
first.
Stephen DePuzzo from Society 8 Hospitality. Let me just get here. About us, we're located in Fort Lauderdale. We serve Broward primarily. We've had operations in Dade as well as Palm Beach County. Currently, our main project is Sistrunk Marketplace, which is a 44,000 square foot complex comprising a 20,000 square foot food hall. We developed it from the ground up. So we had a shell building very similar to what you have here. We had to put full infrastructure in, new electric, plumbing, everything needed. But more importantly, we developed a program that allowed us to attract a variety of kiosks and interactive experiences. So to give you a little background, we come from the restaurant industry. We operate inside hotels, freestanding restaurants, and the food hall venture we started 3 years ago. I want to get to you. So in the image, Sistrunk Marketplace is on the left. That's what we're speaking about. We have 9 kiosks serving food and beverage, a full brewery, a distillery, as well as retail space. We also have interactive experiences, cooking classes, chef dinners, art walks, things of that nature. The goal is to create a community, a place where people could come for a higher end, but yet very approachable experience for dining. So when people think of food halls, they want to think of food courts. I try to get them away from that thought because there's much more of an artisan craft approach to everything we do and everything we bring to the table. I'm going to, the slides may be out of little sequence from what I'm saying, but I just want to kind of follow it. We are also about to open our second food hall in Hollywood. We were brought on by a developer that developed a 18-story building with over 200 residents and ground floor retail. That is almost 20,000 square feet as well. That's scheduled to open in about 4 weeks. That's called Block 40. It's right on Hollywood Circle, if anyone's familiar with that. We're able to handle everything from the concept creation right through design and build, working with vendors, onboarding them, as well as branding and marketing moving forward. Everything in that scope are things we do day to day, and we've learned not just from our experience in the hospitality business, but in dealing with these vendors and the kiosks, which is very important to understand that is drastically different than just operating food and beverage. You have to have the knowledge, but you also have to have the experience in dealing with other businesses. Because if you think of it this way, there could be 10 individual businesses under this roof, each with their own identity, each with their own way of doing business. And our job is to corral them in and head forward presenting something very unique to the public. Our management services and experience, most like any other hospitality company, we have front of house operations. We have over 100 people in our arsenal of team under the roof. We do everything from front of house, back of house, internal marketing and PR, as well as promotions moving forward. So in this complex, what's really important is activation. You have a great little street. To me, coming from Broward, it's something reminiscent of what Broward was a while ago in terms of not having a full offering to the residents in which they can go somewhere to enjoy. People want to call them family centers. They're really not. They're kind of geared, in our approach, geared a little more towards adults. They're very child-friendly, but at the end of the day, these are places for live music. These are places when you're introducing a brewery. Yes, people bring their children and their furry family, which is all welcomed and loved. But at the end of the day, they're places where people are going to unwind, socialize, do business, and interact with the community. So what we try to do is create environments, we call them neighborhoods within the building. So seating areas each have different looks and feels. The offerings, very diverse. So you'll go from pizza to Asian, from Cuban to Latin, whatever you want. The diversity in there is paramount. So the whole process of filtering through these vendors we've learned over the last 3 years, over 3.5 years for Sistrunk, has been finding the right people. Without the right people, without the right offerings, you don't have the right end product, okay? Oh, let me just finish on let's see. There we go. All right, the spaces. So within, you have your kiosks. We call a kiosk as a food vendor, okay? They each have their own setup, their own area that's very branded specific to them. But what's most important is what drives the consumer in. You're coming in for a meal, great. But is it just about the meal? Because there's a lot of options for that. It's about what's around you. So what we've done is we've put a lot of emphasis into our activations. I use the word activations in a couple different ways. One is if you're doing live music, that's an activation. So if it's Thursday nights, you have a specific night, that's what that is. What else could it be? Games. And when we say games, we're not talking about an arcade. We're talking about a couple classic games, a little section with a couple pinball machines, dart lanes, where you could do tournaments and companies against companies, communities against communities, just people socializing. So it's very interactive in that aspect. As well as we're just developing now a whole karaoke section, 2 rooms, and people can do, you're smiling. It's scary for me to think of getting in front of people and singing anything other than Row, Row Your Boat. But in this case, having a little room for a birthday or milestone, an anniversary, a retirement party, whatever it is, these spaces create activations once again. So you're coming here to be a hub for entertainment with your family, friends, or anyone else around you. What's also important is we do a little bit of a retail section. So we find that with the traffic we're bringing people in there, the socializing, having, I'm going to call it a gift shop, per se. And with that offering, you'd be surprised as you have a couple cocktails, you're doing something, it's the holidays, you find a little necklace that someone made. The offerings are very craft-driven. What I do want to be clear when I say these little offerings, I want you to get out of your head anything like a flea market or anything like that. This is a boutique crafted experience, and that's what it's about. It's about people doing the best that they do and bringing it forward to the community. When we talk about kiosks, the length of term on lease we found is a year. There's your renewal options, but the point is to have a little bit of a turnover. You want changes. You want to come in, and yes, right now, let's say hot dogs are hot. Right now in LA, believe it or not, with all that fitness, they're eating up hot dogs. But next year will be a thing of the past. So part of the evolution of a food hall is the evolution of the vendors, evolution of everything. We're talking about interactive experiences. If the karaoke runs its course, that room gets repurposed for its next up-and-coming event. So it's very interactive, it's very driven around the demands of the community, and it's very agile because we can make changes, retrofit, and keep on going. So it's very modular. We do believe in anchoring this space here also with a craft brewery. Your market doesn't have it. It's something that could be done. It's done in many other areas. When I say craft, we're talking about low production, really consumption on premises with limited distribution. Talking about somewhere around 3,500 square foot footprint, very approachable, and we make it plug and play for them. All the kiosks coming in, we make everything simplified for them. We do the infrastructure, they bring the brand. So in the restaurant business, as many of you know, you see them come and go. Sometimes ones that aren't so great last a long time, and really good ones go away. And that's because of the skill set. Most chefs, entrepreneurs, they come in, they're a great cook, but are they a great restaurateur? The answer may be no. So we set the stage and we take the business aspect out, leaving it to us and our operations, our systems in place, and let them shine in their brand. The creativeness in their brand is what they're there for. So when they have their kiosk, they're decorating that, you walk up to it, you have the look, the feel, and the taste of what that chef is putting in front of you. We tend not to go with startups in any way, shape, or form. We're looking for people that have experience. They're looking to either expand into your market, okay, or maybe have a food truck or another operation and want to further expand into a full service in our aspect. So what this does is it allows the community to get a taste of something different. There's also a big evolution going on. As we all know, construction costs are through the roof, rental costs are through the roof. So to open a freestanding venue, let's call it like a Chipotle, Forget that they're a big company. Even for myself as a restaurateur, if I wanted to copy that and open it, it could cost us anywhere from $500,000 to $700,000 to take a freestanding store and turn it into that. Grease traps, permitting, everything that goes into it. What's nice about this is we build the infrastructure. We put in hoods in some areas, other areas, like a sushi place doesn't need a hood. We strategically place that along the food hall. So when someone comes to us and they're ready to take the next step or expand into our market, we're giving them a point of access in your community for a fraction of the cost. What they'll be doing is really decorating their booth, buying their equipment. I'm going to say the average entry level for a kiosk is somewhere between $25,000 and $75,000. So if you're sitting there and you're doing the math, someone, whether they're in northern Florida, they're in Texas, we have people in New York trying to come to Fort Lauderdale. We're giving them access to a market for their idea that's working in another market to give it a test here for pennies on the dollar. And the interesting part is we're bringing something new to our community. So that's the wraparound when we say interactive. This is a little slide on the brewery. That's what I mean by a craft brewery. Small production, tasting, again, community involvement. What's in it for the brewers? They need to, in a very competitive market, they need a foothold on how to get in. They need an access point. By having people taste their product, touch it, and being able to do something on a small scale, maybe for future growth, is the way most of these businesses start. Our marketing services, it's very simple. We market for special events, parties, corporate events, team building. We've done major headway in terms of interactive cooking classes and experiences. Some people are like, well, what's a cooking class? It's something that's different. And that's what the consumer's looking for. Everyone's watching Top Chef. Everyone's getting involved in all these shows. It's hot now. And people have a passion for it, they understand it, and they're coming out for it. So that's something big for us. Fundraisers for local charities. We provide a venue that is, again, once a plug and play, giving the consumer a lot of choices, okay, and giving the hosts somewhere to host that's not displacing other people. If you call most of your favorite restaurants, if you thought about it, if you came in and said, hey, we want to have something for our business bureau, and we have 100 guests. They'd be like, 100 guests? What about my diners? And what about the noise? And, if I put you in, I'm not making money. With food halls, and the way we set it up is there's different areas. There's different sections you could put them in. We warrant that traffic. We want that traffic. So it really becomes a community hub. Group marketing, that's what we emphasize on in all of our marketing. We're strong in social media, emails, but the groups, once again, drive the traffic. We're trying to get people there in droves. And the facilities, the way we build them, design them, allows for that. Promotions, just like any other restaurant, we have specific nights. Taco Tuesday is always Taco Tuesday, okay? So each night has its own thing, including happy hours. We're very big on weekend brunches. It's become a thing. It's, I call it no more nightclubs, it's day clubs or bottomless brunch, whatever you want to call it. It's a thing. So we specifically do repetitive marketing that people know they're going to come and get a certain experience. Overall, we broke this down into phases. Some may look at the number and think they're high. They're extremely low for our industry. This is now, we're past our second project, ready to open, directly on target in terms of budgeting. The design and how we do it is what allows us to do this so affordably. The space is a blank canvas. The paintings are each kiosk. So we do the full infrastructure. We don't put a hood in every booth because not every booth needs a hood, okay? We do everything that builds the infrastructure and allows the new entrepreneur, the kiosk, to plug and play and go, okay? The main things we do is design the seating areas. We furnish the seating areas, design the bar areas, get the bars functional, and for the kiosks, designate certain areas that are good for certain types of uses. Hood, unhood. Pretty simple in that aspect. So we broke it down into phases. The first phase will be design and planning. That would be everything, and we handle everything in-house. Our team, other than hiring a local architect, engineer, of course, designers are in-house. Our design build team for furniture is in-house. We sub it out to contractors to actually build the furniture. But everything we do has been proven in our existing food hall, and again, replicated in the second one, which is exactly on budget, okay, which is amazing in these times of inflation, as well as when we're ready for submission, a complete package to go into your building department. Once that's done, phase two is actually our build and setup. That's where we work with local contractors, getting everything built to spec, exactly the way it's needed, and follow that all the way through to furnishing that facility and getting it ready for more operational. So that will take recruitment of the initial opening staff. That's everything leading to the opening. And then phase three are pre-opening. That's where we start to get the public involved, start releasing all of our social media, working on shoring up the kiosks. What's very important is the recruitment of the kiosks and the tools at hand. We reach out strategically to a couple different cities up and down the East Coast, as well as locally. We were able to fill Hollywood with, we have one team that was on Shark Tank. I don't know if anyone saw the Cousins Lobster guys. They're coming in there. And then we mixed it up with a local chef that had a following, has a steakhouse, and want to do something a little more casual. So it's a very diverse group. But in-house, we go through them, we field them for both their financial wherewithal, their knowledge, as well as does their vision match our vision. In every case, this is a community. You cannot have one vendor on his own agenda compared to the others. So we've learned how to manage that, and we've learned how to let them be creative, but yet still work harmoniously under one roof. We take that all the way through in terms of recruiting, you know, floor staff and greeters and everything through that, and that's part of everything we do. I didn't mention we do have 5 other restaurants that are freestanding, and they operate completely different than a food hall. You really, yes, they're fruits, but one's an apple and one's an orange, and it's a very different experience from our perspective. In here, we did propose 2 different management and revenue plans. We're very rewarding to the risk capital. So in this case, your community went out and bought these buildings, and you're going to put improvements in these buildings, and it's really important to understand the payback ability of it. So we do have 2 different proposals. One is option A, which the city does the rudimentary management in terms of financials, collecting money. It becomes almost like a landlord to some degree, with us overseeing the management of it. It's a little more controlled, and in that we would get a management fee for assisting day-to-day management, okay? Option B is a little more where we take the full financial brunt of it, okay? Passing on certain fees, which are the base rent, and this is the way we break down with the kiosks. They all pay a base rent that's given every month, as well as they pay a percentage of sales. In our formula, the base rent ranges anywhere from $1,500 to $2,000 a month for the booth, plus 10% of sales. We're all in this together on this formula. So when we're all doing well, it's not one-sided, and if we're all having a quiet time, it's September, and it's quiet out there, and we're all in South Florida, we know what that feels like. It's quiet for all of us. It's never lopsided. This relationship has allowed us to keep our vendors most of our vendors are with us from the day we opened, okay? So it's very balanced. So option B allows us, and this is a choice that I don't know if it really comes from you guys or it comes from the CRA, but it's flexible in terms of we would take the lead, handle everything, and pass through the same fees, okay? On one, it's a 5% management fee. If we take full reign of it, it's 6%, and we take 10% of the base rent that's collected. It's a little incentivizing for us then to actually not just manage them, but also get the maximum rents out of it. I think that sums it up. Did I keep my 15 minutes I was given? I did. Questions, please.
Thank you, appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Board members? Who wants to kick off the conversation? Sure.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for the presentation. Again, incredibly exciting. I think one of the reasons that that food hall just made sense there is because of it being such a large building, and as you heard earlier, being able to push those windows back and really being able to use our sidewalks to activate those spaces. I like your using activation because that's what it's all about. I think the different theme nights would do really well here as well. So that's one of the pluses for yours, is just having that diversity in food, the opportunities for some of these smaller businesses who need that extra hand, whether they're comfortable staying that size or that's their first step to becoming bigger. The craft brewery, I think that would do really well. And we don't have any pool tables or pool halls. As much as the arcade thing is fun, I think that is close enough. So I would stay away from that. But being able to tie those different games into the theme nights, I think that would be a really big hit. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Who's next? Vice Chair.
Yes, thank you, and thank you again, both of you, for your presentation so far. As I look at this, you have two separate vendors here trying to bring us two different concepts. The original discussion point was for all three locations. One individual just needs a corner spot now. The other looks like the whole property. Is there a way for both of them we might be able to come to an agreement where you might need a little less space and we're able to maybe look at, supporting both entities here and seeing how that might work? Just a thought.
Do you want to speak? No, I have to apologize. 2 hours down, I missed the first presentation. So I'm not sure what they were proposing. In terms of the footprint, I can say from us is I saw the third space, so the corner space is the large one, the skinny is the middle, and the third one. There is some flexibility if you don't want to allocate all the space in, but part of what we do is we make sure that spaces are flexible. So I would center the whole food hall operation pretty much on the corner space, which is the existing, I think it's 14,000 square feet, 12? 10, okay. The corner would be the primary. The others would be where I would do these other activations. So if down the road, if we do our job, we're going to create, and this is no ego involved, we're going to create a lot of action there. We're going to bring people to that street. That is what we do. Anyone in our business, that's what we strive for, is to bring traffic. So over time, the value of the square footage is going to go up. And if there's a better use as we're going, so be it. So meaning that third bay I would treat as where I would probably do a couple event spaces and the karaoke space, okay? Because I would activate it now for you, let it generate money for the whole facility. But down the road, if one of those don't work or the place is just generating what we're all comfortable with, and that has a better use, I would never build something there that's like, wow, we invested, $500,000 there on infrastructure, and now we're just going to make it into something else. So we kind of do our plans based around flexibility. Right now, I don't believe food halls are a fad, but they are definitely in trend now. And as times change, they might contract, they might expand. So we design the space where the infrastructure and the real investment is in one area, with the other areas being ancillary. So to answer your question as long as possible, I apologize, is those areas would be some of these other activations we would do. And if down the road they had a better purpose, or if someone had wanted to bring something else that we weren't offering, that could be something that gets shedded from the project down the road. So I don't know what they were proposing, but I can say that that could be another entity to itself. Okay.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Gentlemen? Ladies? Yes.
Thank you, Mayor. Can you talk to me a little bit about the development services process? So you all do the structure, the shell of the venue, and then as these tenants come in, how does that relationship work with development services, and how hands-on are you with getting them through the expedition process of their permit?
So it's a great question, and it could pose itself to be a big nightmare, so we kind of take that out of it. So picture building a home and a model home. That's what we're doing. We're letting them decorate. So we go through from the beginning. We have standard size kiosks. I kind of been doing this for 25 years, so I know exactly what's needed for different types of businesses. We make sure we're diverse enough in the size. We make sure they have prep areas, refrigeration areas, storage areas for boxed goods, everything they need. But through the process, we permit from the beginning, including them in. So when it's time for them to come in, we've already gone through your building department. We've already gone through Tallahassee for the food license. We get the master license. We developed a program. When we first opened Sistrunk, there were no food halls in South Florida. We were the first one from Broward down when we first went in. And what happened was they didn't understand how to recognize us. And even I find this when I go in for permits. So we started in Fort Lauderdale. In the beginning, they're like, food hall? No. What do you mean no? Well, everyone needs a bathroom by code. How does every kiosk have a bathroom? So it took 6 months in planning and zoning for them to understand. To one day in a meeting, I said, well, what do you do in the mall? And they said, what do you mean? You have a food court. What do you do? And I go, well, it's zoned like this. I said, well, that's what we want. And that's how it evolved. So we've educated Hollywood on it, and we would do it here. But the real premise is getting the full thing through on every aspect of licensing. So when you come, Erica makes the best, give me an item, Erica, pancakes, okay? So she's our leader on brunch. So when Erica comes in, the health department, we get the master license, and you get what's considered a non-seated license. They carved it out for us. We helped develop the program. So when you go in, you're just making sure that your employees and your little stand has everything needed. We take care of everything else. We make sure the dumpster areas and the garbage washes and the bathrooms and the kitchens, everything else is already licensed. So when it's time to come in, we could all open the same day without any delay from someone else.
Thank you. And it sounds to me like this type of concierge-style landlord-tenant relationship would work really well in a food hall concept. So I appreciate your experience, your ability to kind of walk us through those processes. I'm going to review more of the numbers as I get through, and I do apologize. I was trying to log in online. I missed the first part of the meeting, but I'd like to hear more from my colleagues at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. So, some questions, and you used a word that I was going to use, trend or trendy, and trends and trendiness come and go. So, what would you foresee? Let's say you were awarded the entire space, your concept that we have seen tonight. What would be your view of the range of the number, the high and low ends of, who would be there on opening day? What would be your minimum number of kiosks?
Well, we design it. I have no qualms in filling it, no matter what it is. It's about the quality of what we put in there. So we spend more time turning away people, not to be exclusive, to be fitting. So, there's a delicate balance. If I put 12 kiosks in there, you're like, oh, that's a lot of selection. But can 12 make money 6 days a week? And why didn't I say 7? Everyone in my business makes money on Saturday, right? So it's the other 6 days. So what it comes down to is a balance of kiosks to what the traffic is. Remember, if everybody needs X amount, I'm going to make up a number, 100 guests to make some money on a night. If I put 12 kiosks in there, is it realistic that I'm going to get 1,200 people in there every day? And the answer is no. So it's a balance of what it is. For this facility, I see about 6 food-related kiosks. You would have the brewery, okay, which people would call a bar, but it's not, it's a different experience. And you would have what I call center bar, which is the activation on the street, okay? We would also, we would operate that center bar as well as the management of the facility. So that's that's our enticement to do this. So it's very motivating because if you notice in almost everything I put on there, there's no fixed expenses. It's all percentage-based. So like I said, we're huge proponents on we win together, we cry together, okay? Our goal is to drive traffic. We're incentivized on not just the management side, on the bar side, okay? And our goal is to keep something that's evolving. So what's very interesting is hands. Who's been to a food hall? No one? Okay, one. All right. So your typical food hall, pretty cool. They started in Europe, Spain, right? And you would go and you go to the kiosk and each one has a display and you buy something, you go back to your table, you eat it, it's fun. So when they came to the US, it was a little less about unprepared foods and all about prepared foods, but you would walk around. And it sounds fun, but let's think about it. We go, there's 5 of us, and we walk to a kiosk, and I order a burger, and someone else orders a pizza, but now you go back to your seat, and you have to wait for them to cook it, and then a little buzzer goes off, and you go pick it up. And as fun as it is, it became a little bit of a chore. So what we did is we encompassed the QR code system and food delivered to your table. So you scan it, okay, and it's the evolution is what we're talking about. Because we noticed that people didn't want to always get up and get down. I want to get another beverage. So I'm going to get up, leave our great conversation for another beverage? The answer is no. Or even on, just like everything else in life, it's all about that extra sale. So for the house to give away a sale is a problem. So we evolved. This will evolve, but we have a full ordering system. You sit from your phone if you want. You can walk around and order, or from your phone. As we're talking, I ordered 2 beers, 2 Diet Cokes, and a pizza, and we're going to all enjoy that. So to answer your question, it's about the evolution of it. I do think it'll keep on evolving, and that's the fun of it. And that's why, you know, as a strategic partner, it's our job to stay with the times.
Okay, and I appreciate that. And my fear with respect to a food hall has been that we don't want somebody to open the door. You know, somebody's driving through Homestead on the way to the Keys, and they said, food hall, let's stop and see what's there. And they open the door to this 18,000 square foot building, and there are only 6 kiosks there. That doesn't exude success to me. That's why I kind of ask, you know, your range of choices. I don't want people to open the door and say, is this really where we want to be walking into at, you know, noon on Friday or Thursday, whatever.
Well, it's in the
whatever
floor
it is.
plan too. You would never walk in and just have them lined up in front of you like a stadium where it's like, all right, what do I want? It's about how you do that floor plan. It's about being interactive. It's about moving within the space. So the way we position them allows someone to come in and feel welcomed and not feel like I'm in this big room. You won't even realize in either of our food halls that the spaces are their size, because I call them different neighborhoods. One area has all high tops, and there's some TVs for the sports people. Then another area may be near the stage for music. It's not just one big hall, and that's really important to understand.
Okay, so kind of to compare apples to apples from the last presentation. Let's just say you did the microbrewery and the 6 kiosks. And I understand it's dependent upon whether or not it's a single or double kiosk and what they're serving. But can you give me a ballpark figure on the number of jobs that might create?
For the, what do I believe the food hall operating wise?
With the microbrewery and the 6 kiosks.
Sure. I would have to say there's a roster somewhere around 20 to 25 employees if I had to make a
In
guess.
total?
Yeah.
For the whole?
Now,
okay.
obviously, if the brewery becomes more popular, they're more production, they're going to do more. I do know that in ours in Sistrunk, part of us being there, we went through a CRA. We actually won the award in the state in 2022. We average on there, and that brewery is a full production brewery, so they're going quite often. We're averaging around 40 full-time employees there.
Okay, all right. Because, you know, and I understand you missed it, the earlier presentation talked about 4,000 or so square feet with two concepts, two, you know, more traditional type restaurant concepts in that 4,000 square feet producing upwards of 80 jobs. So that's, you know, again, it's why I say comparing apples to apples, just so, you know, as decision makers.
Yeah, I didn't get to hear that.
Yeah.
I mean, we have other restaurants. I mean, you know, we operate, I have an 8,000 square foot restaurant we just opened on the water, and our whole roster there is 24 people, I believe. So 6 in the kitchen plus service staff. That's kind of what that is. You know, the food hall can't be achieved in 4,000. What I'm presenting cannot be achieved. You need that experience of walking into a room. It's not just about the food. That's how we make money. That's how everyone proffers. But at the end of the day, it's the experience of having something to go to. It's the experience of going in for a coffee in the afternoon, taking your laptop out, working, and someone else is there for a whole different reason, and that's what it's about. Without the space, you're forced in the restaurant business, we've all been there, where you sit down, and it's like, could they bring the food any faster, right? They want you out. It's not because they don't like you, it's because they want to turn a table. So for what we're doing, we don't have servers, we're not pushing that. We're pushing people coming in, congregating, and enjoying what they came there for. They came there for a simple slice of pizza and a coffee, or they came to watch a musician and have a beer after the awesome theater you guys built a block away. That's what this is about, being a community destination for a social interaction.
Okay. Oh, and again, and Board Member Fletcher touched on it earlier, that the proposal by the restaurant group prior to you contemplated using a portion of the southerly corner. There's really only one corner to this project, with a given amount of square feet to do a couple of different concepts. So, you know, I think what the Vice Chair was asking is that, well, and another thing that the first proposer talked about was that, you know, for the protection of parties on both sides of that wall, so to speak, that there's got to be some level of exclusivity that, you know, and I'm just pulling this out of the air, if she's doing barbecue on the corner, we don't want a barbecue stand in, you know, you get the point. So I guess, and again, I'll probably be repeating Board Member Fletcher's question. If we were to determine to want to negotiate with both of you for different portions, and I'll tell you, my preference would be the full-time, more traditional, full-scale restaurant that was proposed prior to your presentation on the corner. Does that take you out of having interest here, or
Yes.
would you continue to have interest in the balance of the building?
I couldn't do what we do. I couldn't do it. It's like saying I want to do a ballpark, but just leave me where they practice. You know, it's a scale thing. What drives people to come here, it's not just the local 1 or 2 mile that people will travel to have a meal. It's having people that live further away saying, we're going to go there for a reason. You're going somewhere for that grandiose feel. You're going there for the variety.
Right.
Without the variety, I do nothing different than any restaurateur that you probably have around you, okay? It's about that whole experience that you're bringing, because I know that if they want what I'm going to deliver here, they have to literally go to downtown Miami or me in Fort Lauderdale. There is nobody else. So that means anyone interested in the Keys, this is a reason to come up. This is not, hey, I heard there's a good taco place in Homestead, okay? This is, hey, it's gonna rain today, which we all believe we live in sunny Florida, and it's debatably sunny.
Not the
right?
last 2 weeks.
Too hot, too cold, rainy, whatever it is. Let's go somewhere and spend some hours. Let's go somewhere and check out something we've never seen. That's what we're about. So when we're in Lauderdale, we get people from North Miami, we get people from West Palm coming down. So the scope, the cone is rather large, and it's predicated on the scale. Because I ask any of you, think back in all your travels, where have you gone to a place that had 6 or 8 restaurants, a brewery, a little place that you could play a giant Connect 4 game, watch sporting games, and listen to a musician? Because that's what I do every Saturday, Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and that's what it is.
No, I appreciate your candor and
Yes.
just so that we all are, on the same page, confirm this with staff. And then 18,000 square feet in total, correct? Of building space, or is it 16?
It's closer to 20,000.
The building is close to 20.
It's
So,
19 and some change.
Just to ensure that it's a hard no, that the building's 20, and we've got somebody that wants the corner 4, the remaining 16 is of no use to you.
Correct.
Okay.
Right. Now, if you needed to carve out 1,000 for something on the other side, I could work that into the plan. Then that's what I was saying earlier. So if
Well,
you were.
is it the corner or the space you're after?
The high ceilings is what I'm after.
And on the corners? Well, they all have pretty high ceilings.
No, they don't. One of them went lower, and it's the openness of the floor plan, and it's also delivering what I can for that dollar amount. Listen, anything can happen with money, then the investment changes. So by that space, the natural bones of that space, without major modification, fit the need. That's the difference.
Gotcha.
So I'm not stuck on, hey, if I don't have 18,000 square feet or 20, I can't do it.
Or I
can do
don't
it
need
with
to be on the
16.
corner, it's the height.
It's the footprint, and that's, let me clarify that way.
Okay. No, I appreciate that. It's nice to have candor.
And I welcome competition for that. I don't see, I mean, all the greatest places in the world have restaurant after restaurant, bar after bar. So it's a good thing.
Very good. Anything further from the board? Yes, Board Member Cannonball.
How you doing, sir? Hi. Let me tell you something. Between you and her, I would choose her. Okay, she's bringing a restaurant with a tradition, with specific food. And I love quality of food. I don't like junk food. Right? What you're proposing is like a food court, a mall food court without a mall,
No,
something like that.
no, it's craft
How
food.
are you gonna be sure that all the food is gonna be to the standards that we want?
Again, I didn't hear her, so I'm only listening
okay.
to
Well,
what
this
you
is a-
said, but she would be someone I would bring in as a vendor. Maybe
Okay.
not her, she might be more advanced, but someone like her that might have been.
She doesn't want that. Okay.
No, I'm not saying
But so
her.
why don't we like share this and get into like an agreement, okay? And listen to her, talk to her, and find a way to do it. Because I want to help you, but I will choose her all the time. I will not vote for you, sir. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you, Board Member Cannonball.
I do want to say something about part of his comment. Nowhere in this, and I know I use the analogy of a food court, that is not the level in which it's at, okay? The guys that on Shark Tank were backed by Shark Tank, not because they just had a food truck. They had a concept. They had a certain level of quality. They do lobster sandwiches that are $35, $40, and even with the economy slowing down, they are not. So the people we have, our busiest concept at Sistrunk is a butcher shop. We sell fillets, bone-in ribeyes. So yes, there's someone having a great burger and fries, but there's another table over that spent $100 on a tomahawk, okay? So don't mistake in the fact that I'm using words like approachable and all of this. It's all about quality. It's all about the people being the best of the best.
Who controls the quality?
I do, and it's in their lease. And we terminate people that don't play well with others and don't meet what they promise to meet. There's certain qualities. We don't put big freezers in here. You know why? I don't associate frozen food with quality. This is all about craft, craft, and craft. That's what this is. Okay?
Yes, Board Member Bailey?
Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple things to clarify. First of all, I think that when we first started discussing the food halls, Councilman Cannavale and Davis weren't here yet. So if we could maybe send them some of the things that we saw in some of the first presentations, just because it is a newer concept, and even though the malls, of course, are not doing well right now, I think that concept itself of going out with the whole family and everybody being able to pick something else, I don't see that going away. And as far as the upscale food halls, it's no comparison. I mean, it's beautiful, specific restaurants that do their thing, and you could just get the best of different worlds. So the only thing I would like to offer, after hearing the end, I'm not sure where we need to get to tonight. As much as I would love to see Havana and Cortadito on the west side, only having 4,000 of this 20,000 square foot building is a concern, of course. And with all the different cultures that we have here in Homestead, again, that's one of the reasons I was excited about a food hall, is being able to go into one big space and see different pieces of different cultures and having those themed nights. So I really do love the Havana and Cortadito concept. I'm just not sure for this building that would be the best fit. Thank you.
Just kind of thinking out loud, I think, I perceive that, except Board Member Ross been quiet so far. He always likes to talk last. Perhaps there is a way to thread the needle for both of these concepts at that location. And I'm wondering if we can do a couple of things. Encourage staff to give our new members some more of the background on what they've seen at Sistrunk. Maybe separately, they need to go on a field trip to Sistrunk, as well as some of the venues of the first proposer. And during that interim period of time, encourage these two proposers to get together and see how they can both meet their needs for this location. I think there may be a winning concept here. As the old curmudgeon, I'm not entirely sold on food halls yet, but willing to move forward. So I'm wondering if the way to accommodate both the bringing our two members up to speed, and for those of us who have not yet gone to Sistrunk or visited any of the other V&E concepts, would it just be a simple deferral, Mr. Attorney?
We were just staff was looking for directions tonight, so if you're not prepared to select one or the other and direct staff to begin negotiations with one or the other, you can advise staff to try and facilitate a conversation between the two proposers while you do your due diligence and we come back, and I think that's all the direction we need for this evening.
Bingo. I think that's what I would like to accomplish. I would strongly encourage, representative from both teams to sit down and see how we can all have a win-win for both sides, and bring our colleagues up to speed on these different concepts in the interim, and would encourage you to accomplish that in the next 30 days. So do we need anything further? Yes, and we'll hear from Board Member Roth. Yes, Ms. Driver.
I also wanted to, we'll follow up with that plan definitely, but I also wanted to ask the board, I know the concept for V&E is one that we would all love to see here in Homestead. Is there maybe an appetite to maybe pursue a different location for VE? perhaps Homestead Station.
The beauty of this site, and just devil's advocate, the beauty of this site is we control it and can make rent concessions that cannot be made at Homestead Station. Now, having said that, I was told early in my tenure here that Homestead Station was not suitable for a big restaurant for lack of grease traps and lack of ability of delivery trucks to get into that footprint. But, maybe there's a way to make that
They
that
do have,
happen.
they have grease traps in Homestead Station. They
They
grease-
have
They have a
grease-
grease trap.
grease traps now.
That where they could tap into.
Okay.
Just an idea, because I think VE has a great repertoire of restaurants, so it would be wonderful to get any of their products down here. So just looking and trying to think of other opportunities that possibly might
Okay.
work. Maybe we could look at
say,
that.
I wouldn't dismiss anything, but, if we can make that happen.
So Mayor, like you said, you took the words out of my mouth. So definitely we'll sit down with both applicants, and there may be an impasse, right? They might say, hey, we both want that corner property, and then so we know where we're at. But you had an excellent idea. I think it would be in everybody's interest if you have not had a chance to go to Sistrunk. I had the opportunity to do so on a Tuesday afternoon, and I was impressed at the number of people. I thought it'd be dead, to be honest with you. The number of people coming in, having lunch, just to get an idea of the concept more than anything else. And we can also do the same thing for the other applicant. We can go, I think they have a location on Lincoln Road on Miami Beach. I think it'd be a good opportunity for all of council. All 7 of you don't have to go at once. We could break it up into different groups so you guys can see the both locations to get a better feel for what both applicants are offering the city. I mean, they're both very good applicants, right? They have a track record, which is important, but it's tough, cutting that baby in half. But we'll talk to both applicants and see if maybe we could come to a mutual agreement here somehow.
And when we go to the V&E, if we can't take your personal credit card, I hear that the school board has some that can be freely used. Come to the mic.
On behalf of VE, anytime that you want to visit all of the concerts that we have, most of them are located at the beach, but we have one in Pembroke Pines, and we have also in Brickell City Center in the mall. We have Havanas. I have also 4 at the beach in South Beach and 1 in Pembroke Pines. So I believe that the near one that you have is in South Beach. We have Lincoln Road, 2 in Ocean Drive, and 1 in Pembroke Pines, and the other one is in Pañola Way. And the Cortaditos we have in Coral Gables. We want to open one in Brickell City Center. We have one in Meridian, and the other one is in Washington. So anything that
You know something? I don't want to go to eat in your restaurant or his restaurant. I don't want to do that, okay? I want you both over here in Homestead. Try to agree, both of you, okay, how we're going to do this. Because I run only on this, bringing people like you both over here. That concept that you were telling me, I didn't even know. I thought it was like a food court in a mall, okay? I haven't seen it. You know something? I once went to, where the big guitar is?
Doral?
The Hard Rock. And they have something like that. That's more or less what you have in there?
No, I've been in the business for 20 years, and I know
No, I'm not
what
talking
he's
to you.
talking
I'm
about.
talking
No,
to-
I know what he's talking about. I'm gonna defend him. I
Okay.
cannot defend him.
You know something? This is not I'm telling you, I prefer a traditional restaurant. That's what I told you. Okay? I want something like to set roots in this place, okay, and be beautiful. Like, something. I don't know which restaurants are good over here, but if we can bring you both, okay, and make a good business out of Homestead and make Homestead a better place, I'll welcome you both. Try to agree. in that side and see what happens. Why don't you both talk in the corner and come over here and tell us what you want to do?
I have to say that I really like the full heart. I mean, I'm agree with that concept too. I've been in the business for 25 years. I know that it's a new trend. I always serve the full hospitality. I mean, like a full restaurant that you said. The good things about the full hall is when you have high standards, like I mean, he presented, you can show the people, I mean, high quality. If he control the tenants, it's a good opportunity. So it's something different that you should bring to Homestead too, besides me. But this is a good opportunity for both of us.
Board Member Roth.
Thank you, Mayor. So this is kind of exciting, right? I've been waiting about 8 years for this to happen, where we have very, very reputable operators that want to come and invest in our city. It's extremely exciting. I was a little thrown off by the change in the plans for your concept of 4,000 square feet versus the whole building, which I understand that maybe it's not the right time for that. And I was going to also suggest that maybe we look for an alternative location. And as the chairman said, we don't have any control over leasing space at the Showbiz or Evo or whatever it's called today, those spaces in there. But we can certainly make some monies available to help, as we did with Cirque Salon, right? The Suskin type business plan is similar to what the Cirque Salon does, right? They lease the space from the theater, and they sublease that space out to entrepreneurs that may or may not have been able to go out on their own. So it's an interesting concept, right, to do the food hall thing. Sitting here listening to both of the presentations, I'm getting hungry, right? But I'm hungrier to see what the outcome is, because I believe both opportunities are amenities to the city. And as Mr. Cannonball said, he campaigned on that, bringing opportunities and new amenities to our city. And we're all looking for those opportunities. And again, it excites me that here we are with two formidable operators. Both of them have decades of experience in different aspects of the hospitality business. And I certainly think that we've come a long way as a city, and there's a way to get both of you here, whether it be at the same location. I don't know that that will work out, but we will definitely work hard within the CRA and city staff and other venues to see that there's a concept that works for, or a venue that works for both of you. So I just think that we can do that, and I think that if you haven't been to a food hall, it's a rather interesting experience. It's nothing like going to Southland Mall and going up there and ordering your bourbon chicken and getting a taco from Taco Bell. It's totally nothing like that at all. And that's what was exciting me as I was sitting here listening to your presentation, was not only is it food, it's opportunities for other entrepreneurs to test out or expand their brands, come to Homestead, see that there's a market for their business, and then leave and open up a real business in the city of Homestead. So not that their business is not real when they're there, but the cost to open a business, and I was understanding what you were saying, for a freestanding or even a site location, a strip in a mall, is extremely expensive. And you know, I'm traveling more as I get older, and I go to areas where there's multiple opportunities to try mom and pop type restaurants. And if you look around our city, we really don't have that, right? You can't go anywhere in our city and get a shepherd's pie. right? You can't get some of those great foods. There's not a deli in the city of Homestead. You can't get Indian food in the city of Homestead. So this also, the food hall type concept, allows for those varieties of food. So I just think that, I'm just really excited that you guys are here, that we're having this conversation, and I truly believe that there's going to be a way to work it out. So I hope you guys work hard, CRA, staff, and if you guys haven't been up there, go up there and check it out, because it's well worth seeing that operation. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Roth. Board Member Davis.
Thank you very much. I mean, I'm in such agreement that when there's a will, kind of like we say, you know, when we want to get something done, it's going to get done. And I so much agree that there's a way we can work together on this. That whole area has been vacant for a long time. Remember the old Main Street Cafe? You know, it was there forever, way back when. You know, those properties are prime for this type of entrepreneurship. You remember way back too with the Fat Monkey that was bought out for the redevelopment. I mean, that was again a fun place to go, but boy, this is just such a step above. You know what I mean? And I so agree with my colleagues that this is a time for us to work together to make something smart happen, and let's look for innovative approaches, and perhaps we can find something, you know, that none of us is expecting to see. You know what I mean? And then, look at that. Here's a solution. Here's something we can do. And now we got two businesses coming in, and we're just, and for our community. I so look forward to working with you, and I look forward to going to your restaurants just to see how they work. I very much look forward to that. Thank you.
So thank you all, and I know staff will put you all together, and we'll maybe have another site visit, and we have a big conference room upstairs, whatever needs to happen. Thank you all for coming down. All right, we have another big discussion item coming up. Does anyone object to taking 5 to 10? All right. And we're back, tab 7, Mr. Pearl. Six.
Tab 6, and this is for Mr. Driver.
Yeah, okay. Okay, nothing for, I was reading ahead of myself. Ms. Driver? The Triangle property.
Sorry about that. Again, I was waiting on Matt. Sorry. So, Mr. Chair, I have a rather lengthy memo, a background memo in here, staff memo. Would you like for me to read the memo into record or just get to the good part? Okay. Yes. Okay.
Bring on the presentation.
Okay, excellent. So I will just state that based on the Evaluation Committee's recommendation, staff recommends that the CRA Board authorize the Executive Director to enter negotiations with the top-ranked firm, Luna Development Services, for the award of RFP 202342. If the top-ranked firm is unable to meet the CRA's needs and requirements, negotiations will then proceed to the second-ranked firm, Legacy Real Estate Development, LLC, in accordance with Florida Statute Section 287.0555B. Staff will come back to the board with a proposed negotiated agreement. So with that, Luna is represented on the call, I believe Stantec. They are on the line, so any questions that you all have can be directed to them. They are there to answer. And then also staff is here. And I would also like to point out that representatives from Rebel, Leah and Sasha, are both here as well. They participated in this process, helping to draft the RFP, helping to rank and review the proposals, and then also did an overview of all the applicants and that they provided to the review committee. So they are here also to help provide feedback or answer any questions.
Very good. Now, does Luna have a presentation, or are they just here for questions?
They're just here for questions. They did not prepare a presentation. No, they
Okay.
did not prepare a
Well,
presentation.
then I will kick it off to the board members with any initial questions or comments they have about the Luna proposal. Who would like to go first? It's on the Triangle property. So I'll break the ice. Let me get back to my email from staff so that I have the appropriate language. As I recall, when we, and I don't remember if it was in the initial offering or in the redo, where we had the discussion and about the density bump from 45 upwards of 60 several months ago. And the language that was put into the notice was a proposer should assume a maximum of 45 units per acre. However, if a compelling justification is provided for additional increase in density, the city will retain the discretion to entertain proposals including up to 60 units per acre, depending upon the proposer's ability to meet the city's stated objections. And the conversation here was really give us a wow factor to justify the additional, the density. And I guess I need some clarification because as I read some of the tables, the density is not at that higher end. It's below the 45. But in the written narrative, it talks about density of 60, and maybe it's the amount of acreage that is, because in the tables it talks about 136 units at over 3.72 acres. But somewhere in the narrative here, it talked about the increased density of up to 60. So is the density at the lower amount, or am I am I missing something?
Based on the presentation that Luna did to the evaluation committee, the density is higher, is at a higher amount. It's not at the 45.
Right,
And-
yes, yeah. And looking here in the Exhibit 5 on what their page is 24, it talks about a density increase, but, doing the math for what's in the tables, it seemed to be lower than that. So I guess, I'll go right to the heart of my favorite or least favorite word, density. What in the project, other than financial viability, what's in this proposal that creates that wow factor to go above the 45 units per acre?
I would like to allow them to respond to that, but just based from staff's point of view, it was the amenities that they were offering, and they were also going to leverage the site space a little bit more to help it realize its potential versus some of the other proposals. But I would like for Luna or the representative from Luna to speak to why they would like the higher density. Are they on the line?
Yeah, good evening. My name is Ida Sanchez Gomez. I'm an architect with Stantec, and I'm representing Luna Development. My understanding, and I'm here on behalf of Michael Glenn from Luna and Amy Warsham from Stantec, who really spearheaded this proposal. And unfortunately, we couldn't be there in person today. But my understanding is that the reason for the unit count is really because of the height requirements. That's really what's dictating the size of the building, the unit mix, and the targeted population for 40 and under. And that's why this proposal is at kind of the higher end, but not at the highest end unit density. Did I answer your question?
You did, yes. Thank you. My next point of clarification would be, I know there were renderings of prior projects and, just, illustrations that showed potential, but none of these showed your actual architectural concept for this site, or does it? If it is, it's not clearly stated. That's something I think that, beyond the financial implications, beyond density and height, are the aesthetics of the project. So is it correct there are really no conceptual aesthetic looks in the package yet? Is that correct?
No, I understood from the applicant that the cover rendering, you were on page 24, that rendering there, that's on page 24, that they were going to do their best to come close to that look and that feel of that project, of that rendering. I think it's on the cover also of the application.
Talking about this one?
Yes, that's one view, and then this one.
Which one? What was one you held up, Commissioner? That one? Oh.
This one here. It's on the cover.
Yeah, okay, I see it. I got you. I got the pergola type awning. Yeah, with the retail space in the bottom. And I guess, we always have so many other folks come in and there's the position that, no, it's there. It's a lot here. Sure. Board Member Avila.
A question about design concept. Is there any rooftop dining or any rooftop experiences identified?
I don't recall them touching on that in their proposal. Can, Aida, can you speak to that, please?
I don't believe we have any rooftop dining, no.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that.
I was asking if there was any rooftop
Yeah.
dining experiences.
and the answer was no.
No. If there is a presentation that she could plug and play now, I would like to see it, but it's kind of hard for me to visualize and compare here.
And for them not to be here for something of this magnitude and importance for the city.
Yeah, just I wanted to let you guys know that we found out this morning, this basically midday, that we were selected and ranked #1 for this project, and we couldn't make it. It was just we couldn't shift our commitments around. If there's another opportunity to make this presentation, I think that would be our preference.
I would agree with you. I'd like to do that, to coordinate some dates where you're available in person and can do the presentation and
Yes.
bring some more conceptual drawings other than what's in the package, and we'll reschedule that date as quickly as we can. This is, too momentous, too important to, yes.
I have a different question, because I agree that this needs to be done at a different time. This is just unacceptable. It's a bunch of word salad, really. Who put this together? Who put this together and thinks that this is of a quality that the council is going to deal with? Who put this together?
Who put the proposal together?
Yeah, who put this packet, what is it, 2.5 inches of word salad together that we're supposed to decipher? Who put that together?
Well,
And submitted it to the city council?
the proposals are what was submitted by each of the
I'm
the
talking
applicants.
this. This is what I'm talking about.
Mhm.
This is a bunch of paper, and I get it. But what I mean is, it doesn't tell you anything what you need to know. Who put it? Who submits this to the city council?
Well, staff puts the binder together because it includes, traditionally, we always include the proposals that were received, the scoring, the ranks, all of that information pertinent to the application process. So this is traditionally, when we put the packets together, you will receive all of this information. Unfortunately, the last presentation that we had for this, this project was on last Thursday, and procurement was not able to get all the information together until Friday, procurement and CRA staff, and the binders went out on Friday. So that is why the applicant, as she stated, she didn't learn until this morning that the meeting was today. It was because of the time frame, and we were not at the office yesterday. So we could not let them know until today. So otherwise, we would have been prepared for a presentation, but we couldn't even announce until Friday, and we'll let them know until Friday that they were.
Okay, and I'm not trying to shoot anybody down. I'm just saying that this probably isn't how we should do
So
business.
let's get prepared and have a redo.
Well, may I give a suggestion, Mayor? What I've observed and with the city managers, we don't have a real standard operating procedure about how these packets are put together, the timing of them. I don't know about y'all, but I've received briefings without packets, so we're just kind of getting a briefing, but no substantial analyses or anything like that. And I think it's a place that we can do better. Okay, what I would like, Mayor, is that we, through the city manager and Ms. Driver, of course, to work together. We need to have a plan that these things are put together to a certain standard. They're put together early enough so that each of us can have a binder, or each of us can be reading it off of our electronics sufficient, because this is a huge legacy item. You know, it's a big deal, and everyone cares about it. So we gotta put these things together that way. So in other words, there needs to be a series of backward planning that says, okay, it's submitted by this day, it's to print by this day, it's in the hands of the council by this day, and then you get your briefing after you have a couple of days to look it over. Then you get your briefing from the city manager or from the CRA, whatever is appropriate. I don't think we have that right now, and I think it would be a very valuable thing to codify. You know, to say this is how we do business.
Right, I think we have an opportunity, you know, we began the discussion about perhaps moving to 2 council meetings a month, dividing between, you know, quasi-judicial and everything else. You know, and that's going to require an enactment of an amendment to the procedural resolution. And I think that this is something we need to consider, yeah, to whether or not we go forward with two council meetings a month to incorporate that timing concept into the basics here of being able to have the materials and have both sides be better prepared.
Well, and if it's all right, why don't we do this? Why don't we say to the city manager, put together a plan, and work together, of course, to put together a plan, and then we can vote on it. We can discuss it and say this in a particular item, you know, comes past one of the dates. Okay, we just push it to the next month, unless it's an emergency, and then the board, you know, we will vote on it and say, yes, we know we're violating this procedure, but it's very important. We're going to go ahead and do that. That would give a lot of predictability, I think, and a lot of preparation time for all of us, because we all got jobs that pay the mortgage, and we got to be there as well. So that would be a very beneficial thing. I think that would be a good thing to do.
Mayor, if I can, I hear you loud and clear, Councilman. Yes, we have cutoff dates for staff to submit the information to procurement in the manager's office, and giving procurement ample time to go ahead and review the items, once again, for legal, finance, risk management, all of those are reviewed. But from what I'm getting from you is you want to see this packet completed, but not 2 or 3 days before the meeting. You want it earlier than that.
I get it one day before the meeting.
Or at least prior to the briefing.
Yeah.
Well, once again, it's remember, the city's in a constant moving forward, right? There's a lot of, and I totally respect what you're asking for. Constantly moving forward, a lot of items are moving, so CIPs, bids are going out, And when these things move into the queue, then we go ahead and move them forward. But once again, the process that we're going through right now has been done for years, okay? But I'm taking your 2 cents. I understand where you're coming from. You'd like to have this particular packet completed, so when you sit down with me and the rest of staff and we're going over the items, you've already had an opportunity to look at it.
I wanted a couple days before we sit down.
Okay,
And-
understood,
and
understood.
Because that's the only way I see us being able to fully deliberate these things and look through. And if something misses, and this would be a good example, I mean, if this was such a short turnaround, it would have missed the deadline. We would have automatically said, let's push it to the next month, no big deal. We don't have that right now, and I really want that. And colleagues, I don't know, you want to vote on that, or we want to have a plan that we look at, or are you okay with the way it is? I don't know.
There's no vote needed if that's what council wants, to have it, the packet completed, say, the Wednesday before the updates on Fridays. Does that make sense?
If we find a path to do that, if we need to back up cutoff dates.
Right.
So be it. And I think that, perhaps it could streamline the duration of our public meetings as well.
Okay. But that's something definitely we can do.
Thank you.
Yeah, let's see what it would take to accomplish that.
I mean, if that's the will of the council, that's the will of the council. That's what's going to happen.
So I see at least 4 heads bobbing. Let's see
So,
where we can go.
so the
with that.
Wednesday before the Friday, the council gives the update. We do the council updates, the completed packet, you'll have it in your possession.
And if, I'm hoping we can work in conjunction, with the CRA too, and have that same timeline in effect. You know what I mean? I don't think.
Well, for everything, for
before
Cal,
it,
for
you know.
CRA, for council.
Yeah.
And I think in this particular case, in defense of Comitra, I mean, this is a project that's been ongoing for quite some time. It's gone through 2 solicitations. We have a viable applicant here, so the thought was to bring it to council as quickly as possible, right? And so, maybe in our exuberance to bring it to council, to get this thing going, maybe we should have just waited a week or 2 to bring it to you all.
May I?
Yes.
Thank you, Mayor. I think also, and probably would provide a lot of relief for our new council members, and it would have for me, or in my earlier years, and even now, is to just have sub tabs in the packet itself, so that 2.5-inch section of agenda item we're looking at might say, have a divider between the 2 proposers, and have a tab that says numbers, or a tab that says floor plan, or some visuals. And I think that just having a more organized breakdown in the way the agenda item is laid out will create, more sense of understanding on what we're looking at, what we're comparing to, and that'll give a lot more ease to the way that you're evaluating the information. So I would be careful on having cutoff times that are too strict that will prevent us from being able to handle business in a expedited way. But I do want to make sure that we have packets that are easily, able to be understood and evaluated, because I'm having the same problem. Like, where's one start? Where does one begin? And having the sub-tabs would definitely help.
Well, and in that regard, and not to go way out in the weeds, I don't know if the proposer's still on the phone or not, and I understand we create a public record that's in the archive of the agenda packet, but I don't know that a lot of what's included in these big notebooks is really relevant at times for our discussion. Like several pages of minutes from the meeting where we said, sometimes yes, sometimes no, or ordinances from 1973, whatever it may be. A lot of trees dying here too.
I hear you, Mayor, and it's 2 sides of the same coin. We've done it that way, no minutes, all, hey, I don't need the score sheets, and then all I need is one council person to say, I want to see the score sheets. How come the score sheets aren't here? So it's kind of a difficult position for ourselves. We want to give you the most information that we can so you guys can make an informed decision. definitely we can weed stuff out of here, so there's not so much documentation, and which is fine until we get to that item that I wanted more documentation, right? So we got to find a center point here somehow.
Right, no, I get that, and, I still, after my 4 years this time and 6 years, long time ago, you get a briefing and you get the agenda packet that raises more questions, that sometimes there's not a sufficient time to have issues resolved or questions answered before we come here. In that regard, I get that.
And once again, I'm hearing counsel loud, and once again, and it's not an excuse, it's just a fact. That's the process, how it's been for years, 10 years, 15 years. But I hear the councilman. The packet will be completed on the Wednesday, a week before the meeting. And then that way, when we have the one-on-one updates with council, at least you'll have had the packet in your position and an opportunity to go through it, so if you had any questions.
And we'll have the bulk of it. Always at the last minute, there are changes, just as we had tonight with one of the proposals, and I think we all understand that. But, let's see how we can take that for a test drive and see how that works for a while.
Absolutely. So we have the council meeting next week, which we have a bunch of development services items that usually I don't get them till, how many? 8 items, usually don't get them till Thursday. I wouldn't get them till this Thursday.
But this is why you have a plan. Words spoken are a concept. A plan is words to paper. And we're going through this, maybe we got these things coming up, whatever. Make a plan. And then everyone can follow the plan. Make that backward planning guide that this is it, this is your timing. Write it out. These are the things that are in every packet at a minimum, in every packet. If you want more, I can supply you more. But this is what's in a minimum of every packet. It's easy. It's easy to do. And for me, when someone says, oh, this is the way it's always been done, so let's make a plan. Let's make a plan.
Yes,
Say,
sir.
this is how it's going to get done.
Yes,
Okay?
sir.
Thanks.
Okay, thank you. So, are we in agreement that we will set the soonest date possible for the full and in-person presentation for the Triangle parcel? Yeah. The restaurant people, when they do their thing, they do their thing. Yes.
Question, Mr. Chair, would that be before next week's council meeting? Is that what we're going to shoot for the next CRA, to bring this back?
I wasn't thinking that short term, but if you can accommodate everyone's schedules and our schedules, have at it. Council
Okay.
meeting's next Wednesday, correct?
Yes, yes.
I know I'm fine Tuesday, but we've got a lot of other schedules to mesh.
Okay,
Whether it's the day before, the day after, whatever it may be.
okay.
It sounds like we have too much on the agenda next week to have this presentation before or after next week's council
It
meeting.
might be a little crazy next week, so.
Okay.
Well, I'll coordinate with Comitra.
Yeah, whatever you can
The
coordinate.
concern is just, we're on that tight timeline because of Miami-Dade County, the restrictions, we have to have this project completed by a certain time. So every day that passes, it puts us closer and closer to
Okay.
the deadline.
Well, as
We'll coordinate.
fast as you can. So that takes us to tab 7.
Mr. Chair, I don't know the procedure for making this request, but can we defer tab 7 because it's kind of a companion item with the Triangle project?
Well, it is, but are you going to have issues with the seller? Do we need to get under contract and either bail out or extend due diligence? I understand that, one without the other, but if you have a cooperative seller, I'm more than happy to move on from this item.
I think that he would cooperate waiting one more week.
Okay, so, Mr. Attorney, do we need to formally defer 6 and 7?
If I could have a motion to defer them to the next meeting of the CRA, that
Okay.
would be fine.
All right, do we need 2 separate motions?
We can consolidate them for for
Okay,
these purposes.
so moved by the vice chair to defer item tab 6 and 7 to the next CRA meeting. It's been moved and seconded. All in favor? No opposed. Yes.
Just in planning for this, if for some reason Tuesday or Thursday does not work out, then an extra 20, 30 minutes on Wednesday, I think we should do it.
Yeah.
So if Tuesday or Thursday doesn't work out, then we can notice it for before the council meeting.
Yeah, even if it needs to be at 4 o'clock or something.
Because if this falls through the cracks, then it's a whole nother long.
Just a practice note, if we leave our notebooks here so they don't have to reproduce these 300 pages of these two items with expensive color toner, just leave them here. All right, so is there any further business for the CRA?
No, sir.
All right, you have a motion to adjourn? Moved and seconded, all in favor? Aye. And momentarily, we will convene the committee of the whole meeting.
It was.
We are ready. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call to order the Committee of the Whole meeting for the City of Homestead. Today is Tuesday, January 16th, 2024, and it is only 7:30 p.m. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Bailey? Councilman Davis?
Here.
Councilman Ross? Councilman Carnival? Councilwoman Avila? Vice Mayor Fletcher?
Here.
Mayor Losner?
Here. Mr. Manager, are there any additions, deletions, or deferrals for this agenda?
No, Mayor.
Well, you're up. Car number 4145, the electric utility and solid waste update.
Thank you, Mayor. And while Yaniel's bringing up the presentation, so last summer, the electric utility experienced a lot of challenges during the summer. So I thought I'd do a quick presentation. I know it's been a long night so far. A quick presentation speaking to what we've been doing to go ahead and address those challenges so we can mitigate them in the future. So important facts. We have 21 line crew employees that are responsible for 181 miles of high voltage underground power lines, 133 miles of overhead, high voltage overhead power lines, 272 miles of low voltage underground power lines, and 151 miles of low voltage overhead power lines, for a total of 737 miles of linear miles of line. Now, that number 21 is the number of positions we have today for the line crew. In the summer of last year, we only had 16 line crew personnel at that time. Other important facts: the electric utility line crew is responsible for over 4,000 transformers, approximately 8,000 distribution and light poles, and close to 6,000 streetlights. So summer of 2023, the perfect storm. And what am I talking about? In 2023, the utility had to deal with two unprecedented challenges. One, a prolonged heat wave that lasted through June, July, and August, as well as line crew staffing shortages, and I'll speak to each of those separately. So here's an article from the Washington Post. In June, record-crushing heat is blasting Florida with no clear end. Washington Post again, Florida is roasting in extreme heat and on pace for a record warm year. This is in August. So what is the importance of the heat wave? And by the way, this was not only the city of Homestead, it was the complete state of Florida. And the issues I'm going to talk about, these issues right now, for example, it puts stress on the existing infrastructure, reducing efficiency, overheating equipment, causing early failure of equipment as well. This was not only experienced by the city of Homestead, but it was being experienced by all the municipal utilities in the state, as well as FPNL. Now, in addition to those issues that were being caused by the heat wave, there's the usual suspects, right? So the severe weather, that's either high winds, a lightning storm, vandalism, theft, equipment failure, fallen trees, wildlife, and human error accidents, people crashing into poles, transfer stations, things of that nature. So these are things that truly the city could not control, but are affected by the prolonged heat wave. The other issue we had in the summer of 2023 was staffing shortages. Once again, this was not unique to the city of Homestead. This was a national issue. This is from Lineman Central 2023. Lineman jobs are in high demand. This is from the Epic Times. Power line workers in high demand, fueled by a wave of retirement and industry growth. We were experiencing this. Other municipalities were experiencing this. FPNL was experiencing this as well. So in 2023 of June, we had 2 troublemen. 1 position was vacant. We had 4 foremen, 6 linemen, 2 were on light duty, 1 on medical leave, and we had 5 apprentices, 1, all in the first year of a 4-year program. Now, we created the apprentice program. It used to be smaller, it used to be 2 or 3 individuals. We increased it because we were having issues finding linemen to come in, certified linemen to come into the city. So we started training our own. Once these gentlemen, men and ladies, finished the program, they're literally with the cities for several years before they can actually leave. So once again, this was impacting everybody in the state of Florida. And this is where we were in June of last year. So what did we do? I went ahead and authorized the addition of 2 additional troubleman positions. Now, this is very important. The troubleman is the first person when there's a power outage that goes out in the field. What they do is determine what it is. It's a blown fuse. Do I need to pull out a line crew? What do we need to do at this point? So we had 2 in mid-June last year. So they were working mornings, late evening, late afternoons. Now with the 4 positions, now we have somebody on staff 24 hours a day. Yes, there's 1 vacant position. We're already currently in interviews. So we don't have to wait to call out a troubleman on overtime to go ahead and check out the situation. So quicker response times. Still 4 foremen. I authorized the addition of 3 lineman positions. Remember, before we had like 6 lineman positions. We converted to apprentice positions so we can hire those positions. I heard of an opportunity of hiring a lineman or 2, so I authorized Barbara to go ahead and open the positions because, once again, we have a shortage of linemen. We have people who are getting close to retirement, so we had to restock the ranks here. So we have sufficient people to go ahead and handle any situation out in the field. Additional improvements that we've done. We're in the process of adding 2 new main circuits to the Renaissance substations to alleviate circuit congestion. Pole hardening project that's been going on for a while, replacing wood poles with concrete. Neutral reactor for the McMinn substation to avoid blinks. Just so you know, blinks are not a bad thing. That's the system protecting themselves. If you get a blink in your house, it's not that the power is going down. That's the system trying to protect itself so it doesn't create an issue and have a cascading effect and do a more serious outage. Additional substation equipment for the Redland for future growth. Purchasing on wildlife covers for electric equipment, insulating wire to protect against falling palm fronds. This is in addition to, and that's not $14 million, $15 million that we spend annually already between maintenance and capital improvements for the electric utility. And very important, December of last year, this council approved a significant base rate increase, the first time in over 36 years. The previous time it had been 10 cents which I want to say it was about 15 years ago, which makes a big difference to help us fund these additional projects we're doing to harden the system to ensure we have reliability. And just a friendly reminder, remember, these issues that we have with our transformers in the electrical distribution system, it's not as easy, you go into your bedroom and turn off the switch and turn back on the switch. Here's an incident where they took out a pole. This is from an actual incident here in the city of Homestead. So once again, just letting you know what we've been working on with the electric utility to address these issues in the future and to see if anybody has any questions at this point. No? All right, excellent. One down, one to go. Solid waste update. It's been a year since solid waste was transformed from a division into a department. And I just wanted to give you all a quick update as to where we are. So where were we in 2023? Solid waste fees had remained static since 2008. For comparison, during the same time period, the consumer price index had gone up by 154%. Same period of time, the population had increased by 52%, and the volume of garbage had increased by 62%. Here is a graphical representation of that previous slide. So you could see there, population increase, garbage increase, yet our commercial and residential rates were flatlined. Fiscal 2022, the general fund had to give $1.2 million to solid waste so it can keep operating. Fiscal 2023, once again, the general fund had to give $1.3 million to solid waste for it to continue to operate, as well as give $1.8 million in American Rescue Plan funds to order capital improvement in terms of solid waste vehicles. In short, solid waste had to be subsidized by the general fund by over $4 million. So what did we do? In January of 2023, solid waste became a department. We implemented new GIS routing services for both commercial and residential accounts, improving efficiency. Implemented vehicle cameras, increasing safety and accountability. We authorized the use of the tipping floor at the county to reduce wait times at the dump. We added 2 new roll-off trucks for industrial service, 2 new side loaders for residential service, and 2 pickup trucks for commercial service. And we added 9 new positions to meet the staffing levels needed to properly operate the department. This was the first time that new staff was added to that division/department now since 2012, 12 years.
What are the stats, though, since 2012, how many new stops did those same number of employees have to make?
Exactly, right. The number of pickups increased dramatically. If we go back to that one slide, you can see the number of the population and houses being developed. Commercial rates were increased by 34% to be in line with current operational costs and expenses. Same thing with residential, 32%. It was increased, once again, to match the current expenses. In addition to that, we tied the solid waste rates to the consumer price index, ensuring, allowing the manager in the future as the CPI increased to be able to increase the rates so we can keep the operation solvent. In addition to that, we implemented the ENCO call center services to improve customer service calls. And we have orders for 3 side loaders, 1 front end loader, 1 roll-off vehicle, and 2 pickups to improve operations for fiscal 2024. Delivery times of these vehicles are still out because of demand, supply chains, things of that nature, but the orders have been placed in, and that's where those ARPA monies went ahead and helped us out. So what is the result of the changes we've made over the past year? Solid waste is now self-funding. It does not need to be subsidized by the general fund. just thinking about it, between the ARPA funds and general funds monies that were spent the year before, there's over $4 million that could have been spent for other projects citywide. We are appropriately billing heavy use customers, and what I mean by that, staff is on it in sense that a lot of times these, apartment complex, they don't want to pay for 3 pickups. Their dumpsters are overflowing. Hey, we don't want to pay for additional ones. We're holding them accountable. And so we're fixing that with the commercial accounts. Reduction in the missed pickups, okay, as well as a reduction of approximately 80% in customer complaints. Talking to Crystal, it was about 10 a week. That has dropped down to, dramatically. I think that has a lot to do with the cameras, holding not only employees accountable, but the public accountable as well. And so we're very excited that we're seeing positive improvements in the department, and I'm hoping to, in the next 6 months or a year, to report that we've actually been able to reduce overtime expense as well because of these changes. So at that point, if there's any questions.
Just a comment, though, I know one of the early fixes until all the trucks came in and we got a handle on this was that our crews voluntarily, I understand, started coming in earlier.
Yes, that was one of the issues when we could not meet the demand for pickups. Yes, Crystal talked to their crews and they started coming in earlier.
Well,
And that has something to do with the dump as well.
Right.
We wanted them to operate earlier as well, so at least we're not getting stuck at the county dump, which sometimes it's well over 2 hours waiting in line to be able to dump the refuse.
And that's somewhat tied to the camera views, because I know I've been guilty of failing to put my cans out the night before, and by the time I remember the next morning, the truck's already been by.
Right.
I put them on the other side of the street when they're going back. That's what you need to do.
Shh, Councilman, don't tell anybody that. But I mean, that does happen, right? Somebody forgets the night before, and that's not the customer complaint I'm talking about, though those do obviously
In
occur.
the beginning of cameras, we had that, and I know we rolled the tape and their can just wasn't there.
The can wasn't there, or the can was picked up and they're, just trying to get an extra pickup for the extra garbage that they
Well, that
have.
was him.
So I think it's been very constructive, the third eye camera system, and we are actually literally propagating that through the city as well, basically to all departments, except for the police department, that's a different thing. But definitely parks people, personnel's working at the parks, the QRT folks that are on the road picking up, code enforcement, we're doing that as well. So we think it's a product that holds us accountable, it holds the city accountable and the employees accountable, but it holds the public accountable as well, and it's working out well.
Very good. Well, I appreciate that. That's a really good update and eye-opening for the public when, rates had, rightfully or wrongly, been artificially kept low for decades.
Right.
In some cases, and those are things we cannot subsidize, and we're.
Yeah, and you're correct. And I mean, it's an enterprise fund. It's supposed to be self-funding, but remember, there's no free ride. There's over $4 million that could have been used for other parks, additional police officers, a lot of great things that were lost because we had to subsidize the enterprise operation. So we're good now in terms of funding for that particular department.
Based upon the complaints I get by email, we're doing much better.
Mayor,
'Cause I know that I was forwarding and other people were forwarding to you.
it's like crickets now, and I don't want to talk about it anymore. Knock on wood.
Don't jinx us.
I don't want to jinx ourselves here, but it's crickets now. So,
Yeah. Councilwoman?
Thank you, Mayor. No, of course, wonderful that it's self-sufficient, and of course, I was going to say, I'm sure that we all can agree that 80% sounds about right in a reduction of complaints. But what I just wanted to bring back is before the pandemic and before some of these bigger issues, we were trying to dive further into recycling and what some of our options were. So not for this meeting or next council, but in the next couple months, can we talk a little more about recycling and see where we are and what we can do?
Absolutely. We'll definitely go ahead and do that. Recycling has been a challenge, not only for the city, I mean,
everywhere, I
in terms
know.
of contamination, and just for council members that may not know, you can pick up an entire neighborhood, a complete truck of recyclables, and that it's clean and will be recycled. And all you need is that last resident or commercial entity to throw, I don't know, 5 quarts of oil in there in a can or something. The recyclables get contaminated at that point, and literally you take it to waste management or whoever's doing the recycling. They'll look at it and say, hey, 80% contamination. We're gonna take the 20%, the 80%, they literally take it to the dump for you and charge you a premium for that. And so solid waste is on top of it. We look at our loads ourselves, and if there's high contamination, we're not taking it to the recycler, we're handling it ourselves. But that's part of this challenge. We have done educational programs in the past. Once again, this is not a challenge only for us, it's for the county as well and other municipalities. We'll definitely bring something back to council.
Being where we are with our national parks, I just feel like I'm more than willing to go do some special trainings. I just feel like there's something we can do to just do better, set an example. And the thing with the contamination, I know very well that the entire truck from one can, but then again, there come the stickers.
Yes.
And then there can come the fees, with the cameras, we can figure out where that came from, assess fees, because it's unacceptable. You don't want to recycle, put it in your regular garbage, but don't mess up the entire truck full where everybody else is.
Yeah, the cameras are
transferring.
definitely helping out with that. And, if people are putting in paint cans or oil and stuff like that, we'll be able to pick up on it.
And then lastly, really quick, talking about recycling and trees and all that good stuff, what we could do when talking about our agenda packets is having online everything and having a smaller version in our books. So if there is something that we want to go through, I never get the book, I always have the clerks. But during the weekend, I look through the computer and then have this for reference here. But I think that would be something to consider, is having the...
Great
That's
idea.
Something I had
Thank you.
thought about, that, electronically, the full package with all the background and just a very limited paper notebook to bring to the meeting or study. Vice Mayor Fletcher.
Yeah, just one question or one thought process. Again, thank you for the presentations, good updates. I'd like the staff to take a look at a town called Hunters Point, Florida. They are a completely LEED zero energy city. With that, they install solar or wind turbines on their facilities, and the entire city is self-sustainable with that. So it's with again, solar and wind and battery storage at each individual house. So one of those things to look at when we're looking at new developments coming into town, or redevelopment, that we're looking at these LEED projects to try and get us into more of a recycling type mode or more of a energy conservation mode.
I don't think it's a city, it's a huge project near Sarasota called...
It's
was
called
it
Hunters Point,
Hunters
Florida.
Point. I read an article about it a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I think it's near Babcock Ranch, if I'm not
It's out in
mistaken.
that
So
area.
I was going to ask that. Yeah, I've heard of it as well. We'll definitely go ahead and take a look at that.
Just something for all of us to think about when we're meeting with these developers coming in. Hey, there's new sustainability items out there that we can definitely...
We'll definitely take a look at it. Thank you,
I think
Vice
it
Mayor.
has redevelopments coming to the west side. Councilman Davis.
Thank you very much. I got to tell you that as someone who is newly elected, I saw all those changes firsthand, though. I can look back and see 24 months ago, for example, or a little bit further back, things were a little bit rocky. Today, it's much more predictable and much more professional. And the drivers still honk at the little kids that, do this and everything, So you can't beat that. One consistent thing that I heard, I don't know the answer, okay, I'm just throwing it out there, sorry. During the election cycle, was people griping about their garbage cans and getting them replaced. Sometimes they get crushed, the wheels fall off, whatever. How does it, well, for one, is that a consistent problem? Is that something else that's been resolved? How do I tell someone this is exactly what you do when you replace your can?
The issue was staffing at one point. Well, it was twofold. One, supply chain, we couldn't get new cans. And so if there was a new development coming online versus somebody, hey, I lost a wheel, the new development was getting the can. So I think, Crystal, we've been able to, the supply chain issue, we're getting cans now, okay? And Councilman Canaval and Davis, this is Crystal Oliveri. She's our Director of Solid Waste.
Yes,
If you haven't
so-
had a chance to meet her yet.
So the supply chain issue was a problem with the auto cans and getting them delivered, same thing with the dumpsters. That is resolved, but mainly there was a personnel shortage. So because we had more houses and less, the same amount of staff, one of the additions to the staff members is going back to the way that it used to be when we had back when Homestead was a lot smaller and we used to have a person in the yard. And that person in the yard fulfills work orders and does things like replace quickly. Yes, we are on a delay with the replacements quickly unless it's an emergency situation. If you say that your can's stolen or your can's, missing or it's shredded or unusable, we get those out the same day or the next day. The replacement cans, yes, that is something we are definitely working on. You can put it on online on the app, the C-Click app. That's usually the fastest way that we get it. And there's a list, and tomorrow is can day. All day long.
Let me ask you something. Why can people come and pick him up over here?
Can.
They can?
Yes.
Okay, that's a
We're
good
there.
answer.
You might get it from
Because
me.
I have a lot of people asking me for those
Yeah.
cans, and
You might get it from me.
and they put a notice in front of the can needs
Right.
to be replaced, and
So
nothing
if someone
happened.
wants to, they can come to solid waste. Most residents don't prefer that, but if they want to come to solid waste, I'll be there.
Well, what apps did you say to load that on?
The Homestead Fix-It app?
Oh, of course, okay.
Yes. You can use that. You can call in. It's faster, most people nowadays, to do it on their phone and just will log it in.
Yeah, okay. Thank
Thank
you
you.
very much. Thanks.
Thank you. Anything else? Yeah, Councilwoman.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to say that, it's of course, no question to great policy decisions that we as a council have made in the past, and I'm sure we will make in the future, but my hat's off to the staff for putting together the meetings and the brainstorming to create departments out of divisions and for hiring the right management to lead those departments and to make sure that it becomes successful. So I want to thank the staff for doing a great job and for getting us on a plan for success with our electric utilities and with the garbage. So keep up the good work, and there's always room for improvement, as you've heard me say before. But I'm looking forward to a 2024 summer with a lot less complaints.
From your
And
lips
heat.
to God's ears,
Yes.
okay?
Thank you, that's it.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Okay, we have before us the minutes from December 5th. We have a motion to move by Councilman Roth for approval, seconded by the Vice Mayor. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Next item is a motion to place car number 4128 on the council agenda. FDEP grant number LPA 0542, Homestead Pump Station 22, upgrades. Let's let him do something tonight.
What's that, Mayor? I'm sorry?
There we go. We'll let you do this one.
All right, thank you, Mayor. The City of Homestead Public Works Engineering Wastewater Collection Division was awarded $1.5 million from the Department of Environmental Protection for the construction upgrades of Pump Station number 22. These funds will allow the city to install a series of upgrades that will accommodate the pump station, receive increased water flow from community expansion and flooding events. The project will secure wastewater services for approximately 9,312 persons, as well as commercial, industrial, and institutional centers. Additionally, the upgrades will provide greater reliability, system redundancy, and handle current and future flow conditions within the wastewater system. Staff recommends that Mayor and Council approve the attached resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into an agreement and establish a budget for a grant award of $1.5 million from the Florida Department of Environmental Protection to fund the Homestead Pump Station 22 upgrade. This grant requires no matching funds. We're about to go to bid on this one. It'll be out for 30 days. Probably within 45 days, we'd be coming to you for an award, including the first 30 days, and we anticipate it's probably be a 9-month construction program for this.
Very good. It's been moved by Councilwoman Bailey. Seconded by Councilman Roth. Yes. All right. No questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right. Next item, tab 4, right? It's a motion to place car number 4142 on the council agenda. RFQ number 2013-07, wastewater collection transmission system model update. Say that 3 times fast.
Thank you, Mayor. The city is requesting Hayes and Sawyer to assist with the preparation of a wastewater collection transmission system model update to remain in compliance with Miami-Dade County. The following tasks are to collect the necessary flow pressure data, calibrate, and update the model to complete the required regulatory reporting. Staff recommends that Mayor and Council approve the attached resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into an agreement with Hazen and Sawyer for professional engineering services in a lump sum of $125,660 for preparation of the City of Homestead wastewater collection transmission system model update. Additionally, city manager is authorized to increase the fees set forth in the proposal by up to 10% in the event of additional engineering services are deemed necessary to complete the services for the project in accordance with RFQ 2013-07. The original model was created by Hazen and Sawyer. That's why we're doing the award to Hazen and Sawyer. If we were to bring somebody else in, they'd have to look at the original model, and we figure it would cost us more to do it that way. And we're required to do this every 5 years. If not, they would put literally the whole city under moratorium if we were not to meet the compliance with this.
Thank you. Any questions or comments from council? No? Any public comment? Close the public comment and ask for a motion to approve. Second. Okay, yes. Moved by Cannonball, seconded by Roth, or vice versa, however you want to write the minutes. All in favor? Any opposed? I believe that that's it, except I know that Mr. Pearl has some business.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to request an executive session in the matter of Ingram v. City of Homestead. It's case number OJCC 23-006307 in the State of Florida Division of Administrative Hearings. Thank you.
Let's make it happen. Sounds like we'll be here a couple of times next week. Councilman Fletcher.
Yes, one final thought, just for everyone's knowledge. Next Wednesday morning, there will be a zoning hearing at the county in regards to Atlantic Civil appealing the decision of the Director of Public Works for the construction of the landfill that was proposed just south. So they are taking and appealing that original decision with the county. So if we could rescind our resolution that we adopted and also just have our residents reach back out to their county commissioners and show their displeasure with the potential location of that. I've notified the Air Base and Lenore as well already of the issue. So if you happen to be out and about and want to tell your citizens about it, please do, so we can get more folks there.
And I believe we put some on social media as well when that was occurring, so we'll make sure to do that as well.
Thank you, that's it.
Quickly, anything further from council? Oh, Mr. Manager?
No, Mayor, I'm done for tonight.
That's it. Motion to adjourn? Moved and seconded. All in favor? Thank you all. Good night.